guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be my beauty budget and no-buy plan for 2015. But before we get started, I just wanted to show you my eye makeup. I followed Anya Marie's Get Ready With Me with Slate, using Slate and kind of putting light pink over it. And I did not use a pink eye base, so I feel like it looks a little less pink on me, but I am totally fine with that because I'm not a big fan of pink on my eyes. So this is another way to use Slate, and I really enjoyed it. So I will link her video down below again if you haven't seen it yet. Anyway, let's get started with my inventory. I'm going to go through each type of item that I have and let you know the number that I currently have and the number that I would ideally like to have. And before we get started, I just want to say, if you haven't done this, I think it's really eye-opening because I used to love to watch these videos, but some of the numbers I thought sounded a little crazy high to me. But it wasn't until I counted my own items that I realized that I was not far behind, or I even had more in some instances. So yeah, let's get started. So for primers, before I go on, I want to say that I counted deluxe samples as one item, and then I also have things in palettes. So for instance, I have the Tarte Rainforest After Dark palette, and that has one highlighter, one bronzer, one blush, and so I counted all of those as separate items, and then I just counted it as also an eyeshadow palette. So that is just kind of how I counted things that had multiple items in them. So anyway, first I have primers, and I have 9, which is crazy because I think I've only ever purchased 2 primers, and that is the Smashbox little mini one I bought at a CCO that I've been using in my weekly makeup bags, and I also bought the Baby Skin primer from Maybelline. So the rest of them are all deluxe samples, and I think ideally I would just like 1 or 2, but right now I have 9, so I have a ways to go, but they're all pretty small, so I think I'll be able to get through a decent amount of them this year. Next, for foundation, this one was pretty shocking to me. If I had to guess, I would have said I had 5 or 6 foundations, but I have 10, and 8 of those are liquid and 2 are powder. And I think ideally I would like to have 3, 1 powder and maybe 2 liquid, maybe a high-end and a drugstore. So I definitely have a ways to go on that category. Next up is concealer, and I have 8 different concealers, which I also thought was pretty shocking. I would not have guessed that. But I think ideally I would like to have 3. And I did count in that my Bare Minerals Well Rested concealer powder. I use that to set my concealer right now, but it is technically, I guess, a powder concealer. So I think ideally I would like to have maybe 1 like that, or 1 kind of under eye powder, which I don't know if I would count that as concealer, but 1 of those, and then maybe 2 other concealers. Next up is bronzer, and I have 9. Some of those did come in palettes, but I have a lot. I do have a few deluxe samples as well, but I think ideally I would like 2 or 3. For blush, now this number kind of surprised me. Before I did this inventory, I really thought that eyeshadow was my main kind of problem area when it comes to spending, but once I counted everything up, I realized that blush is really my problem area, which was surprising to me. I think it's because I really like eyeshadow palettes, but I don't have a lot of like duos or trios or singles. And when I buy an eyeshadow palette, it's more expensive, so I put a lot more thought into it. But you can just buy 1 blush, and buying just 1 blush can add up pretty quickly. So I have 37 blushes, and I do have 3 blush palettes, which kind of account for a third to a half of those, I think. But yeah, so that's quite a bit of blush. I don't think I have a couple dupes probably. I don't have too many though. And I'm not sure what the right number of blushes, or how many blushes I would ever want. So I'm not sure what number that is, but I'm pretty sure it's below 37. So yeah, I've got some work to do there. Next up is highlighter, and this was another one that surprised me because I have 14 highlighters, and that's insane. I know I have 3 of the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector minis, and then I have a couple that are in palettes, and I have the Mary Luminizer and a couple that I've gotten in subscription boxes. So that's a whole lot of shimmer, more than one face needs. So maybe I will try to give a few of those away later this year, or I don't know. But that is an area that definitely needs a lot of downsizing. I think ideally I would like to have maybe 3 or 4 highlighters. Next up are face powders, like setting powders, and I have 7. I counted the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder as 2. I counted the 2 outside ones, and then I counted the middle one as a highlighter because that's how I use them. So I have 7 powders, and I think ideally I would like 2. I would like one that's kind of like an ambient lighting powder that might have a little bit of shimmer or kind of luminizing effect, and then I would have one that does not have that, just like the e.l.f. HD powder I'm using right now. So 2 is my ultimate goal. Some of those are deluxe samples that I had in my products I want to use up in 2015. So I'm hopefully going to be able to whittle that down to my ideal 2 or 3 or 2 eventually, but I've got a ways to go. Next is eye primer, and I have never actually purchased an eye primer. All the ones I have come with palettes or in sets, so it's not like I have a problem buying eye primer, but I have 6 right now, which is a lot because it takes a long time to get through one, even a small sample. So ideally I would just need 1. I don't really like the kind with shimmer or anything in it. I like, basically right now my favorite is the Too Faced Shadow Insurance, but I don't have really oily eyelids or any problem with my eyelids. So I found any primer really works fine for me. So ideally I just need 1. Now for eyeshadow, I broke this down into different categories. I have 10 single cream eyeshadows, and those are mostly Maybelline Color Tattoos. And ideally I think I would only want maybe 2 or 3. I have 7 powder single eyeshadows, and I don't really know the correct number for those. I know some of those are very similar colors, so I would like to not have any dupes, or I have dupes for the colors I have in palettes. So I'm not sure how many singles I would ideally like to have. 7 isn't a lot, but I know the ones I do have I don't really need. So I would like to use those up, or I don't know, give them away or something. Next, I have 5 eyeshadow sticks, and that's not really a lot, but I don't really use them very often, so I think ideally I would like just 1 or 2. Then finally for palettes, and I think I included anything above a single, because I only have 1 trio, and I have 1 quad, and the rest are all like pretty big palettes. So for that I have 21. And once again, I don't really know the ideal number for eyeshadow palettes, but I'm pretty sure that the number is less than 21. So I will see. I shouldn't buy any more, but that is one of my favorite things to buy. So I don't know. I'll have to think more about that. Eyeliner, I have 6 gel eyeliners, and ideally I would just like 2. I think I would like a black and maybe 1 fun color. And I think the problem with my eyeliners is I kind of have like a blue and a purple in every type. I have a blue and purple gel, a blue and purple liquid, a blue and purple pencil, and that's just kind of unnecessary. I probably just need 1 or 2 purples, period. It doesn't matter what type they are. So for liquid, I have 12 different eyeliners, and that's definitely overkill. Ideally, I would maybe like 1 black and maybe 2 different colors, but that's not even necessary. I only really need 1. Although I do really like my navy liquid eyeliner, so maybe I'll say 2. And next are pencil eyeliners, and I have 39. I do have a lot of deluxe samples, and I've gotten quite a few of those in even full-size ones in subscription boxes. So I need to kind of think about how to reduce the things coming in that I'm not actually purchasing myself. So I will talk about that in my beauty budget video, but yeah, 39 is way too many, and the number of those that are black is super high, and I definitely need to get through those before I buy any more eyeliner. For eyebrows, I have 7 different eyebrow products, and ideally I would like to have 3. I would like to have maybe a powder or a pomade type product, a pencil, and a gel. So I have a few things to get through. I'm working on my Bulletproof Brows from Too Faced right now, and then we'll have to see what I want to use up after that. For mascara, I have 23, and I think out of the 23, I only purchased myself 2 or 3 of them. So that's definitely way more than anyone needs in their backstock at any time. So I only have 2 mascaras open at a time, and I keep them open for 3 months unless they dry out faster than that. So, which doesn't usually happen. So that is way too many. but I'll hopefully get through at least 8 this year. If I find one that I don't like, because since most of them are samples, if I don't like one, I won't make myself use it for 3 months. I'll just throw it away. So 23, and ideally, I mean, I would have 2 open and maybe 1 or 2 as backups. So maybe 4 total. Next category is lip primer, and right now I have 3. I have 2 deluxe samples of the Too Faced Lip Insurance, which I like, and then I have a NYX kind of pencil primer. And ideally I just need 1. I don't really use it that often. It's nice to have one, but it's not something I need multiples of. For lip liners, I have 8, and I think that's a fine number in general, but I know that I do have 3 red lip liners, which is unnecessary, so I'd like to move through some of those red ones and only have 1. And then the rest I have like 3 or 4 from ColourPop that match the ColourPop lipsticks I have in some of the darker colors. I really like having the matching lip liner just so I can get a really precise line, so I don't mind having the number 8, but I do know that since I have a few reds, I don't need that many. For lipstick, this was another shocking one since I don't really wear lipstick on a daily basis. I don't work in a professional setting right now. I'm in grad school and I have a part-time job, and I really have no reason to wear lipstick very often, but I have 80 lipsticks. And this is another area where I'm not really sure what the number I would ideally want is. I think there is some value in having a wide variety of colors, but then again, there's only so many colors you can really have. So even though I don't wear like my dark purple or bright orange lipsticks very often, I do like having them. But I think 80 is definitely more than any person needs, and I know that I do have some shades that are pretty similar. So ideally I'll probably want to work through some of the ones I know that are dupes, or not even dupes, but pretty close to other ones, because I don't really need 10 nude I don't really need 10 nude lipsticks. Probably just 1 or 2 would be fine. And then finally is lip gloss, and I have 16. And considering I don't even wear lip gloss on a daily basis, that is quite a lot. Quite a few of those are sample sizes, which makes it a little less scary of a number, but still. So I have been wearing lip gloss more than often lately, so I will hopefully try to get through a few of those this year. But still, 16 is way more than I need, especially for someone who isn't super into lip gloss. So I think ideally I would only have maybe 2 or 3. And that is everything. So if you've done one of these videos and I haven't watched it, please let me know below, and I would love to see it. And yeah, so this was pretty eye-opening and kind of motivating for me to keep going with my project pans and project use it, like project Cinco de Mayo or whatever. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!